Tying up a quick little wet fly from Ray Bergman's book Trout. This is called the Cowdung. What I have learned, what little I should say I've learned about this fly, I didn't do a whole lot of research. I'm just tying it because it's another fly from that book. It just was an interesting looking pattern, but it's a very old fly. Apparently it's been around for a few hundred years. Matt over at Savage Flies also did a video on the Cowdung. He's got a little bit more of the history of the fly, and it is supposed to imitate the yellow cowdung fly, which is a terrestrial fly. I will refer you to that video because he's got a little bit more information than I do. But it's just a very quick 3-part fly. There's no tip or rib or anything on this, just the body, the wing, and the hackle. That's the Cowdung. I'll get started tying. I'm going to start the Cowdung with my hook and the vise. This is a Mustad 33.99 in a size 6. Just a standard wet fly hook. I'll debarb the hook. And I'll attach my thread. I'm starting off with a Danville 6/0 in white. Now, the body on this is an olive green. I've also seen a kind of a yellow-green wool. I'm just going to use some kind of olive green wool that I've got. I don't have to put the white on first. It's kind of a habit with these so that I don't darken up the body material, but in this case, I don't know that the black thread underneath would actually darken up this wool that much. I'm going to attach my thread about an eye length behind the eye of the hook and advance it down to just about the barb, right at the end of the shank here. There is no tip on this, and there's no tail or anything. The Cowdung is simply the wool body, a wing, and a hackle. Now this wool is I think it's three strands of wool. I only need 2. You could, if you wanted to, you could do all 3, and it would end up being a little bit thicker, body-wise, that is. The other thing is, if you don't have the wool and all you've got is dubbing, use some dubbing. As I mentioned in the introduction, Matt over at Savage Flies did a video on the Cowdung where he dubbed the body. And he also used turkey for the wing. So certainly you could, if you didn't have these materials, you could substitute and use some other materials. The other thing is, this recipe is out of Ray Bergman's book Trout, and this fly has been around for a long, long time, hundreds of years. So I imagine that it has taken on some different variations over that time. So it could be that the body was, or the wings were made out of turkey slips at one time. I haven't done that much research. It's, like I said, it's out of the Ray Bergman's book, and that's more or less why I'm tying it, just kind of working through some of these flies. So with my body attached and my thread up by the end of the body here, I'll apply the wool. I'm going to untwist this and let that kind of flatten out. Trim away the excess and advance my white thread up to behind the eye of the hook. And I'm going to change over to my black thread. This is a Danville 70 denier in black. To finish the fly off, all I have is the wing to tie in and a hackle to collar, and the Cowdung is done. It's very, very simple wet fly. The recipe in Ray Bergman's book calls for a wing of cinnamon, and it actually states Orpington cock. For that, I'm going to use goose here. This is just a goose feather that's been dyed a cinnamon color. The interesting thing is, most of the time when I tie these so that the feathers flare outward. But this one I'm actually going to tie so that they lay flat. So normally I would take the one slip here like this that's going to curve out, and then I would pull that off, and I would take the other slip off of this feather and just put it on top so they flare out. But in this instance, because I want them to lay flat, I'm going to take this one first, and then I'm going to lay this one on top, and then take that one off. Now, the one thing about this is they're a little bit more difficult to work with this way. They don't slide very well on each other. The barbs, the way they're situated on these, they are rougher on this side. You got the inside now, the smoother, shiny side. On the outside, they'll slide real easy on in between your fingers, but when they are this way, they don't slide as well. So it can be a little finicky to get the tips lined up right and get the two slips measured right. Plus these feathers I don't have, weren't matched up all that well. I'm actually, one is a primary flight feather and one's a secondary, which means the slips themselves don't quite match up as well. Now this is a little bit wide, so I'm going to take out just a few barbs, 3 or 4. And then we'll tie this in. I want the bottom of the wing right here be about back to the bend. A few wraps to secure it, and we'll take a look. That matched up pretty well. I'll put in a few more wraps just to really secure that in. Cut away the excess. Advance my thread down to behind the eye of the hook. All I'm doing here is just putting some thread on top of those butt ends to smooth that off a little bit for our hackle. The hackle is just brown. It's a brown collar. I'm using, this is kind of a modeled hen saddle that I'm using. I want the barbs to be about as long from the base of the collar to the point. So I'm going to use this probably somewhere, not quite the tip, but I'm going to start maybe a third of the way down the hackle so that my last wrap is going to have those longer barbs. I'm going to secure that in, advancing my thread down to the eye of the hook. I'm only going to put in a couple of wraps. This is a wet fly, so we really don't want a big bushy collar. So I got one there. I might actually put 3 in just to get a little bit more. We'll go with that. I'm going to sweep all this back. Start making the head of the fly. I can break away the remaining hackle there. Get that head back there a little bit more. Clean that up, and then we can put in our whip finish. Some head cement. And I'll come back and put a couple coats of clear lacquer on that, and then a final coat of a black lacquer, and the cow dung will be finished. Got a little bit of head cement in the eye of the hook there. I like to keep some remnants of peacock pearl sitting around on my desk for this reason. You can just run that down through the eye to clean that out. So there is the Cowdung Wet Fly. Simple little wet fly, rather handsome. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.